Hey, you don't want to watch those two knuckleheads debate tonight. This is counter programming. Tonight on Taskforce Geek, we're going to be talking about Microsoft buying Bethesda and about the new generation consoles. Plus, we'll do a deep dive on whether Boom Studios and Keanu Reeves should be doing a Kickstarter campaign for their new comic. And we're going to be winging some stuff, and that's all coming up now. Welcome to Taskforce Geek. My name is Dirk Hooper, and today I am joined by Sean.
Yep.
And Scott.
Howdy.
He's most brutal. And our buddy Walt. Adventure Time everyone? Walt. That is brilliant. I love that.
Walt, my man, your mom and dad's gonna watch this and they're gonna go, our son's a clown.
No. I've got a photo with me and my mom and one of my coworkers' kids at a convention, and I'm wearing this hat, and my mom has got the dog's hat.
Oh, that's awesome.
And my friend's kid is dressed up as one of the red wall mice. So
nice.
And we're all doing our best. We're all like doing our best, hip hop pose to the camera.
Wow. We were supposed to have Doug Wood on tonight. We had some technical difficulties. We are going to have him on. We're either going to do an interview or we'll have him on next week. We'll try again. He has the worst luck. He was sick last week, and this week we had him, but we just didn't have a good connection. But let me say, if you're interested, there's a comic that he has written called Leap M. There is the link to that. Leap M. You can go to Comixology. You can buy that right now. And also, he has a current Kickstarter going on. He's got 2 projects. How awesome is that? This is called Ultramax. It's a very cool concept. Go check it out. It's on Kickstarter. You can, and we'll talk about this again at the end of the show. We just want to make sure that he gets a little publicity because he tried. It just didn't happen.
Yeah, he was like a bad Max Headroom. You couldn't be like he was going.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we were getting about once every 5 frames, and we couldn't hear him either. So it was just not working, unfortunately. All of the stories and questions that we're talking about tonight were shared on the Taskforce Geek Facebook group, which I'm not ready for. This is not cool. There's the Quora Taskforce Geek group, and there is the Facebook group. Did I say that wrong? Here's the Facebook group for Taskforce Geek. There's the Quora group for Taskforce Geek. Wow, it's going to be one of those nights, folks. Taskforce Geek on Quora has over 530,000 followers, which is insane. We're looking for guests for Taskforce Geek, either for an interview or join us on the show. If you have something to promote, like Doug did, then or like an independent comic, a game, a movie, or something else geeky, we want to help you with promotion. We want to have you on the show. Contact us at taskforcegeek@gmail.com, and we'll get you on the show. We are broadcasting live from my Facebook account. There that is. We're also on Twitch live, and we're on YouTube. Help us out by sharing this. If you share on your platform while we are live, then your platform becomes our platform. We very much appreciate it. And by the way, while we're kind of on this subject, let's also talk a little bit about how important it is to give us some comments and some likes on YouTube. There's the link right there. We've had some people that have downvoted us. Wow. Can you believe that?
No, I can't.
Like the hatred. So, I mean, to counterbalance that, please go upvote our episodes and leave us a comment or 2. We want to hear from you guys. Seriously. We don't know unless you tell us. So please join us on YouTube and do that. Now, we had a couple of weeks where Scott didn't join us. And speaking of YouTube, he did a couple of videos during that period of time. And what I'd like to do now is turn it over to him to tell us where he was and what he was doing.
Me and some friends, I'll try to sum this up so I don't get too crazy here. Me and some old school friends, Robert, who was on the very first episode, and my buddy Gary, we traveled up to Chicago to an event called Chaos Cup, which is the U.S. major for Blood Bowl. I've said it in the past, but there's like 5 major tournaments considered around the world. There's like Dungeon Bowl in Germany. There's the NAF Championship in England. And then like Canada has the Spike Cup and we have the Chaos Cup. And every year since I've been going, I've went since 2011, only missed 1 year, missed last year. It's always held in Chicago. So it's a good kind of excuse to leave the state. And it was, in a lot of ways, it was really kind of a much needed trip to get out of the state, because we've all been through some stuff, right? We're all cooped up at home. We're working from home, school from home, everything like that. So it was kind of nice to get out of the state for a little while. Of course, it was too short, and it wasn't, it was still really fun, but it wasn't as fun as previous years because we just didn't have that fellowship of like hanging around with people, because like we went, we gamed, we ate amongst ourselves, but we never went out. Like typically you go out with a group of guys of, 10, 20 guys and, hit the bar, or you go to a restaurant and stuff and hang out. And that's most of the time, that's the funnest part of going on these big Blood Bowl trips, is just the fellowship and seeing people that you almost kind of consider family, because you only see them, but you might only see them once or twice a year when you travel to these big events. It was really weird. There was no Canadians there because they couldn't get across the border for obvious reasons. Because Canada wouldn't let them come over to, United States of the disease we shall not name. And and so that was weird. There was no European presence. And usually every year there's always a few Europeans that come over, whether they're from Italy, Sweden. And usually they kick our butts because they're better at Blood Bowl than us. So so this was the year that like anybody who's in here, and Canada brings a lot of people, and so we missed a lot of them too. A lot of people stayed home too. So the guy who won it the year before, he stayed home this year because of all the stuff that's going around. So, but we had a nice, fun event. We played an extra event Friday night, which was another 3 rounds of Blood Bowl, in addition to the main tournament, which on Saturday was 4 rounds of Blood Bowl and then 2 rounds on Sunday. And long story short, I went to try to get in the top 10. That's always kind of been my goal, and I always seem to fall short. Like I'll have 3 wins and a tie, but I'll have always 2 losses or something. That's the best I've ever done. So I skirt out of the the top 10 almost every time. So I was really trying to go for that this year again, and fell short once again. I mean, when you play games with strategy and some dice rolls, sometimes the dice rolls don't go your way. I thought I played fine. I got a little bit in my head on Sunday on one of the games. I was so frustrated because I was like, every year I go to Chaos Cup, and one year a couple times I've been 3-0. And then one year I met the Swedish Buzzsaws. The Swedish team was there, and I had to face the guy who won the tournament and the guy who got like 3rd place, and then another guy. So it was pretty awful. So I think I've won 1 game on a Sunday my entire time ever being at Chaos Cup. So day 2 always kind of kicks my butt with either ties or some losses. And once again, the first match on Sunday, the dice weren't going my way at all. And I started getting in my head, and I kind of gave up about half a game. I should have probably played a little bit harder. But despite all my frustration, the last game on Saturday, I had so in Blood Bowl's kind of a brutal game. If you go to other gaming tournaments like Magic or something and you're having a bad game, you can kind of quit. You can say, okay, I've had enough. I'm in my head, I'm getting mad. I need to walk away. You win. And it doesn't hurt your opponent at all. But Blood Bowl's this weird game that we play, and they give out awards. Traditionally, they give out awards for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then they give out most casualties, because in Blood Bowl, you're playing little like football guys. It's fantasy football. It's like Lord of the Rings meets football. And guys can get killed and injured. And we give out awards for the most casualties, and we give out the awards for the best defense, and we give out awards for the most touchdowns. So if somebody's kicking your butt 5-0, they don't want you to quit, because that might give them the leg up to try to win that best, touchdown award. Run 4, I had the hottest dice I've ever had ever for injuries. In about 6 turns, I injured 11 of his 12 characters. And I had 11 casualties in that one game, which propelled me to the top in the most brutal award. That's why I'm kind of going with this.
We'll take that.
Better watch it. That's good, Jeff. That's good.
Why do you want to be cruel to Cinnamon like that?
Long story short, that really propelled me and skyrocketed me. And then in my last couple of games, even though I didn't do so great, I lost one and tied one. I managed to get more casualties. And at the end of the day, I am your most brutal Chaos Cup award winner.
Hey-o.
We need
that
applause soundtrack.
If you're going to travel 12 plus hours, and I mean, it's better to get something than nothing. That's for sure. And I was really fortunate and blessed that, I beat out two guys who were playing the strategy of just, they'd let people walk by them, let them score because they didn't care. They just wanted to keep hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting. And I managed to get this award at the same time with trying to do the wins. There's our picture. This looks like a Cobra summer camp where we're having like a team photo to build teams.
Right.
Everybody has their mask on because we're all secretly Viper agents or Cobra officers or science
right.
officers.
You got to keep your identity secret.
Right.
That's funny.
Yeah. It was really weird because we were like, do we want to take a group photo this year? Because usually we do it inside, so we decided to do it outside to be safer. So it was a good time. There was a guy from Florida, Will Mayo, won the whole event. It was pretty crazy. He lost the first round in a big giant upset. Blood Bowl's kind of a weird game where certain teams almost should never lose to other certain teams. But since there is dice involved, every now and then a crazy thing can happen. And this guy was playing Chaos Dwarves, which would be the effect of paper, rock to somebody's, scissors. He should always beat goblins. And he got destroyed the first round. And then he went on a 5-game winning streak to win it all. So congrats to him. He's out of Florida. And I interviewed him and the guy who ran the whole event, Jeff Gallenbach. And he did a great job. And he was, I say militant. He did not run the event on Friday night, and a lot of guys weren't wearing masks, and that kind of bugged me, to be honest. But he wasn't running that event. It was held at the hotel, but he wasn't in charge. And then for the rest of the weekend, man, he laid down the law, and he said, if you don't want to wear your mask, then you can just drop the tournament and move on. So I appreciate him. He ran the event really smooth. Looking back, I was probably grouchy the whole time, but I really had a goal to try to get in the top 10. Well,
Unusual.
I'm kind of always grouchy anyways when I'm playing games. There's only one spot I want, and that's number one. So it was just a different environment because when you go to these things, it'd be like going to a comic convention and not getting to socialize. And I really miss that aspect of it, and hopefully the world will change by the time next year happens and we can go back and socialize and have more fun.
You did a live broadcast on the YouTube channel below on Friday night, which is pretty crazy. I mean, you could have recorded it and sent it to me, and that would have been okay. And then I could have cut some stuff and put graphics on it. And if you spilled ketchup on your shirt, I could have just not shown it to anyone. But, you interviewed the guy who won the sevens, who was a little sauced.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, the Florida guys, they brought a big contingent of players, and there's a lot of good players amongst them, but they also like their alcohol. So,
all right. Well, they're on vacation.
That's right. They cleaned up. I mean, I think they took 80% of the awards, if not more. I mean,
wow. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. You probably had people from all over the place.
Yeah, we did. I mean,
but for one state to take all of it, or 80%, is kind of insane.
I might be exaggerating there, but it was at least 70%. I think they took home 11 awards, and I think there was I want to say maybe 18 given out or something.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Or maybe it's 12. I can't remember exactly. Really, all this matters.
Why are they?
This is only that matters.
Of course.
Because I have it.
Of course.
This is my second one.
Why are they so much better? What is the deal?
While Blood Bowl is a game of dice, there is strategy. And if you play with better people, you learn how to play better. I mean, that's just that's just simple. I mean, these big pro Magic players, they play amongst the best players in the world themselves. So that's why they get better. You see things, you know how to handle situations if a good player presents a situation to you, and how to get out of it and this and that. So
are you saying the people you play against are not as good?
I'm saying here in Oklahoma that we don't have even when I run my big tournaments, because, over at bothdown.com where I do my podcast on Blood Bowl, we've had, 60 something people come to one of our tournaments with only like 4 of them being from Oklahoma. So that just shows you that we just don't have that big. We have a community, but we don't have like these big leagues going. And, what's funny is before all this Backstreet Boys stuff hit, we had a really good league going with about, I would say, 7 new guys playing, and they were loving it. And then all this stuff hit, and it's kind of broke everything apart. So, but that's all right.
What I want to point out is that you did the thing on Friday night, and then you did an interview with the winner on Sunday, and also the guy who organized the thing. And you did a really good job on both of your deals. And if anyone wants to see that, please go to the link below to our YouTube channel, because they were broadcast live to those to that place, and it's still available right now if you want to see it. If you're interested in Blood Bowl, or you just want to see Scott, in his element down there or up there.
Before we continue on, I got one more story, but if you want to hear my day-to-day activity and everything we did, you can go over to bothdown.com. The latest Chaos Cup special episode, it's like a 3-hour podcast. I walk you through day-to-day, what we ate, where we ate, what we had, where we shopped, and all that stuff.
It looks like you had a lot of pizza.
We ate
a lot of deep
twice.
Dish pizza.
Yeah, I mean, if you're there, you might as well do that.
And that thing looked like a skyscraper in a pan. It was huge.
It was amazing. The barbecue. I had a barbecue pizza the second time.
It looked like a mound of cheese.
Oh yeah, it was,
and some other stuff.
It was beautiful. If I highly endorse Giordano's Pizza if you're ever in the Chicago area.
How many pieces can you eat of that in one sitting?
3 at probably most at my fattest.
I mean, 3 sounds like like 1. Most people could probably
get out of here. Get out of here. You can eat 3. Stop acting like you're awesome.
I can eat the whole thing. I'm just saying that most
There's
people.
no way you could.
One knocks me out for 8 hours.
There you go.
There you go.
One slice.
Maxine is watching.
Last story I want to tell real quick. We were at a comic store, and I'm not going to say the name because some people have gotten really sassy and mad about this. In about 1990, there was a Green Lantern series that came out with art by Pat Broderick, and I think it was written by Gerald Jones. It was like a new #1 for Green Lantern. Memory. We were at this store shopping around, and of course, we were teasing Robert, me, and Gary. That's pretty much what we did the whole trip. We broke each other's balls all weekend. We were in there shopping, and this older lady comes in and she said, "Hey, I got something for you to look at. It's in my car. My son doesn't want this anymore. Perhaps you know what I should do with it." And the guy comes back into the store eventually, and he has this Green Lantern, this matted. There's a Green Lantern comic, and then on the other side, there's the cover, the pencils and inks, the cover of Green Lantern #1, all matted in this frame. He wouldn't tell us he didn't tell us how much he paid for it. But Gary overheard him. He offered her, I believe, $100 at first. And she said, "Well, this other place offered me $125." And he said, "Well, I'll gladly give you $130 then." And he got probably something that's at least worth $1,000, if not more, from this lady. Now, before anybody gets mad, this lady left happy. She didn't care. And, in some ways, kind of her fault for not doing a lot of research on these things.
Right.
And at the same time, like we congratulated Robert when he found a comic in a dollar bin for $1, and we found out it's worth like $50. So we can't congratulate Rob for a good deal and not congratulate this guy. What's funny is the guy had it, and I went out to the car and I told Gary, I was like, I can't let that thing go away. I have to try to buy that. And so I went in there and I offered the guy $600, and he was like, he said, "Nope, no deal." And that was as much as I was going to pay without kind of hurting my situation. So I let it go. But the guy Gary heard the guy over talk to somebody else that he was going to take that to auction. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful, and I have a picture somewhere on one of my phones. So
that is cool stuff.
It's pretty cool seeing original art. I'm telling you, one thing we should have invested back in the day when we went to comic convention was
I know where you're going.
Original art.
It was
because
cheaper.
It was so much cheaper back then, and now it's just skyrocketed.
None of us had any money though.
Well,
we were eating bologna sandwiches, and
yeah, I know.
Hey, although I will say that Simon Beasley, takes whatever you got.
Really?
Yes. So me and my mom got some when he was here in Texas the last time. We got basically collector card size little simple ink drawings. I paid $40.
That's cool.
Wow.
So
and he's a big deal.
And he's a big deal.
So,
I saw him do a one of those cover, those blank comic cover.
Yeah.
And the guy only gave him $1.
Holy cats.
But everybody around that guy, and the guy just put in $1 and then walked away, and everybody just looked at him like you could just see all sorts of 4-letter words going across people's faces.
Walt, when I posted that what I just witnessed and saw, people were getting irate, and like some people were going like, "What store was that?" And I refused to tell them. One guy who lives in Chicago said, "Please tell me who it is." And then when I told him the store, he's like, "Yeah, we don't shop at that place." So,
oh wow,
yeah. So to each their own. We were out of towners. We don't know the difference. So. Anyway.
All right, let's get on to our next subject here, or our first subject, actually.
Well, thanks for letting me talk about that.
By the way, please go to our YouTube channel and see his 2 interviews. They're short. It's worth a trip over there if you just want to see Scott, or if you're interested, particularly if you're interested in Blood Bowl, it's definitely worth it. It's pretty cool. So on to our next subject. There's been a little news that we've been having lately that has kind of gone out of notice, but it's kind of an interesting thing that's happening. We're right on the cusp of some big things happening in video games, and I wanted to cover that. And so the Time Machine is looking forward this time, and it begins with Microsoft buying Bethesda Softworks. Microsoft has acquired ZeniMax Media and publisher. Let's see, I'm supposed to be doing something here I'm not doing. How about this? How about this? Yes.
Wow. Does that feel good?
Or we could do it the other way. How about this?
That's cool. Although we're blocking out Sean down there at the bottom. So
are we? Yeah, he is. It's gone.
Okay.
Sean's gone, man.
It's okay.
Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, published a letter on Xbox Wire welcoming the Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Wolfenstein, Doom, Dishonored, and Quake franchises, as well as Starfield and more to Microsoft. Is anyone here familiar with Starfield? That's a new one, right?
Never heard of that one.
All right. What I want to do is just talk a little bit about what you think this means for Microsoft or for Bethesda, if you guys are following any of those games, and whether this is going to be good or bad for that company. And first, I'm going to go to Sean.
As far as being good for Microsoft, how can it not be? All these titles have banked over the years. Sure, they've had some missteps. Bethesda has had some missteps, especially with the Fallout 76. But overall, they've done great with these franchises, and with them under the roof of Microsoft, I don't see why they won't just keep getting better and better.
Walt, what do you have to say?
I can't believe Bethesda is worth more than Lucasfilm.
Yeah. Wow. Good point.
That's the one thing I got out of it. I was like, oh yeah, well,
that's a good point.
I was like, those games will work good on Xbox, but then it was like, wait, they paid more for Bethesda than Disney paid for Lucasfilm.
Yeah, it's been a few years, But yeah, you're absolutely right.
I'm
It's
like,
about double.
wow. And they even paid. I could see. I could see Marvel being worth 4 billion. Or was it 3? I can't remember.
4.
But then with all the movies that it was making, with all the money the movies were making and everything, it probably should have been more than 4 billion. But yeah, Bethesda is worth $7 billion. Really? That's what's really going through my mind is
that's a good point.
The amount of money they paid for Bethesda.
Bethesda's not worth $7 billion. ZeniMax is worth $7 billion.
Okay,
so what is
if you break down
ZeniMax?
that's kind of the mother house for all of these franchises. So if you break it down, you could roughly say that they purchased each franchise for $1 billion.
So they get a bunch of studios in this gig.
Absolutely.
So that's what the deal is.
You're getting Bethesda. You're getting id Software. You're getting
and they get a bunch of exclusives.
Eventually, I think that they're not gonna what was the adage I used? They're not gonna cut off their nose to spite their face. So they'll still have, you'll still be able to play Doom on the PlayStation. You'll still be able to play Skyrim on the PlayStation. But I think in the future, going forward, there will be exclusives or timed exclusives. In other words, for the first year, you'll only be able to play it on Xbox, and then it'll be released onto the other systems. What I'm assuming is that this is going to provide them with their catalog, which will be made available on the
Game Pass,
and any other future ventures that they plan on doing with that. This is just giving them tons of exclusive content that PlayStation will probably
pretty heavy hitters too.
Right.
I mean, you heard the list that I just named.
Right.
So that's not a jokey list.
Even though it sounds like it's a huge amount of money, I don't. If you're looking at the landscape of what it is that they purchased, I'd say it's fair. It's definitely not in the realm of Star Wars. Star Wars is $4 billion, but it's not as bad as it sounds, I don't think.
The video game industry is much bigger than it usually gets credit for. The film industry is, about 10 billion a year. The gaming industry is 20 plus billion a year. So you can make a lot of money on video games.
So you guys don't think the games will be exclusive just through the Xbox?
I don't think that they will be.
Probably not.
I believe that they will be
timed
exclusive.
Yep.
In other words, you're going to get whenever the next Doom comes out, you're going to get Doom exclusively on the Xbox for 6 months to a year, and then it'll come out on PlayStation. Okay,
that's what Jennifer was worried about. She loves Skyrim, and that's one of their games through the Elder Scrolls thing. And we have a Switch, so she was really worried about well, does that mean I'm gonna have to get an Xbox? If I want to, or.
I think you can stick with whatever console, or if you're a computer gamer, I know a lot of computer gamers out there. This isn't really going to affect anybody, I don't think, other than the new products that come out. Depending on what you have, you may have to wait a little longer before you get access to it, and that's it.
I mean, don't forget exclusive content as well. I mean, they may make the games available for everybody, kind of like how they did Soul Calibur, where certain platforms got Yoda or Darth Vader and Spawn and all those. So, yeah, I mean, like Sean said, you don't want to cut off your nose to spite your face. So everybody will be fine.
I'm going to go to you, Scott. What do you think, man?
I pretty much said my piece. I mean, this doesn't affect me whatsoever because I don't play any of these games.
Only if they embargo those games where you can't get them on the Switch.
Right, and that was Jennifer's concern. We were talking about this today because when I saw this subject, I was like, well, I don't know what to say because this doesn't affect me. And she goes, well, buddy, it affects me. So she said, this is what you better say. And I laughed, and I was like, well, I didn't realize these were games you played, and, this affects your enjoyment. So, she's concerned because we really like the Switch system. Yeah, we're not, I guess we're too old, or maybe it's just because we have kids right now, but we don't want to go buy multiple systems at all. So, this was just a concern, and I never thought about the big backlog of games, that they could offer, the Xbox users and stuff like that.
It's all about franchises. And,
I mean, I'm of the opinion they're going to try to exploit and make as much money as possible. So like you said, if it's exclusive for even 3 months, then they can go to the next one and squeeze the money out of people, and it will work, So
generally how they do it is it starts off on Xbox, and then it'll go to computer gaming, and then after they've pretty much paid for the game at that point, then they start releasing it to other consoles or other areas. So it's everybody's going to be fine. Nothing's going to change. Some people are just going to have to wait. Yes, there might be spoilers for this or that. If that's something that you're concerned with. But outside of that, I don't see this affecting anybody really.
Okay.
One thing that one last thing. One thing that I think that I'm actually interested in, like how some games have specific exclusive characters. Some systems will have exclusive characters.
Right.
What I'm really interested to see what they'll do is, since now there's this push to have the consoles, like with games like like Call of Duty, where an Xbox player can play against a PS player. What will be interesting will be to see those exclusive characters interact.
Sure.
Right.
And with that's
a good selling point.
That's going to be fun.
Yep, it is.
You asked me, that's going to be really, really fun. So
yeah. Let me get to a few comments here. We got a few. The previous subject where Scott was talking about the guy or the woman who brought in the cover. Damon has a story about a guy at a local comic book shop. He said that he went to a garage sale and some old lady had a box of comics selling for $1 a piece. He flipped through and was shocked to find a Wolverine versus Hulk first edition. He claimed that out of his dignity, he informed her that it was a very popular comic, and he offered her $50 for it.
Well, hey, hats off to the guy in the store, because if he would have brought that in and I would have overheard it, I'm usually not the guy that would like step over somebody's bounds, but he knows that all three of us would have freaked out and said, "Oh, this is awesome." And if I would have heard it, I would have offered $600 to her and I'd probably walked away with it. I really wonder if the shop would have overbid me on that. So, but who knows?
They would have been exceptionally mad that you did that.
Dude,
oh my God.
Furious. Furious.
I'd have done it.
Well, I didn't know what was going on.
But I mean, what you're saying, if she had walked in the store and said that, I'd have done it right off the bat.
Yeah, he probably knew that too, because we were already talking with him for 20 minutes or so, and he knew we knew what we were talking about. So
right. Jeffrey says, "Do you think Elder Scrolls will be proprietary to Xbox again?"
No, it's the same thing. It's going to be open to all consoles. The only thing is there might be a timed exclusive, and that's it. I mean, it's not going to be just Xbox from this point on. The franchise has already been well established, cross platforms and what have you. They're not gonna screw that up.
Jeffrey explains what Starfield is. I says, "What is Starfield?" It's the new gen upcoming game. Think Star Wars meets Elder Scrolls.
That's cool.
That's not so bad. Let's see what else we got here. Jury is talking business. Microsoft probably has a lot of excess cash that they can't get any interest on in today's rate environment. So invest it instead of sitting on it. Invest it. Good, really good point.
That's a good point too. Yeah,
it sure is. Jennifer says that she likes her Skyrim. Dang it.
You're not going to lose it. I swear you're not going to lose it.
Here's Skyrim. It's just two hands in front of you the whole time.
Exactly.
I always
Don't-
switch to third
don't
person.
say bad things.
I don't play that.
You make Ronnie mad too, because
That's crazy.
Ronnie only likes Skyrim. Ronnie only likes Skyrim.
It looks fun. I just watch her play it.
He says that Skyrim will be safe, but the next Elder Scrolls will probably.
I don't think so.
Going to be.
I don't think it'll be exclusive.
I think that they're probably going to put it out there so they can make money on it.
Like I said,
Although what Walt talked about, some exclusives and stuff, that's coming definitely.
you might get a specific armor type on PlayStation that you wouldn't on Xbox and vice versa.
For sure.
But beyond that, I don't see it.
Hey, Mr. Thompson.
Marion says she heard that Ahead was part of the Bethesda deal, said that games like the mainline are safe from being exclusive since games like Fallout, etc., have been long established as non-exclusives.
There you go.
So there you go. Everyone rest assured. Okay, we got another section to this, and we're not going to do any major fanfare or anything on this, but I will do this. Oh, I can't do it yet. Here we go.
Oh,
Hey.
look at this.
Hey yo.
We got a guy talking in this corner. Hey, cool.
We already know all of the critical info about the PS5 and Xbox Series X thanks to the most recent updates from both companies with prices, pre-order details, and availability. Microsoft also tossed a wild card into the mix, the $300 Xbox Series S, which is a scaled-back version of the Series X intended for the 1440p gameplay rather than 4K. PS5 pre-orders have already started and have been selling out fast. That's despite the $500 and $400 price tags, the latter without an optical drive, and probably the best choice of the two models. The $500 Xbox Series X is slated to enter pre-order September 22nd. That's been a week ago. The Series X and Series S are slated for retail availability on November 10th. That's coming up quick. While the PS5 is a couple of days later on November 12th. So there's the let's just go straight to this. There's the two consoles that are going to be available in about a month, and you can see that the PlayStation 5 looks like it's out of Star Trek. It's kind of wonky, and the Xbox Series X looks like a box. It looks like a stereo component, to be honest. To be fair. So I'm going to first go to Scott to talk about these two things. I don't know what he's a Switch guy. So what do you think about these? Do you think this is a step forward? Are you interested in this? What's your take?
I think you should save your money and get the next Switch next year.
Well, yeah, good luck. You can play Rocket League with Scott.
Yeah, then you can play Rocket League with me. Rocket League is now free to play. So
See?
if you're out there, you can find it. You can download it and you can play it with me and have fun. Right now they're doing a Fortnite crossover. And let's not even talk about these systems. Let's talk about Rocket League.
Wow.
I have no real opinion. I don't buy either machine. If I was buying a machine, it would be the PlayStation. I've never liked Xbox. Never, ever. And I don't see why I would change now. So,
All right, Walt, what do you say?
Looking forward to that PS5. But
Yep.
that being said, I never buy the first ones out there.
Oh man.
you never buy the first generation.
Man, you are
Never.
so right.
Never buy the first ones.
Nintendo's the only product you can trust on that.
That's probably
This is true. This is true.
That's
Most
true.
of the time.
Most of the time, especially after what people experienced with Xbox. I'm not saying PlayStation never had that problem, because PlayStation did have that problem. I do believe with the PS3, I think it was, because the first two generations with the PS3 had problems playing PS2 and PS1 games.
Right.
And after that, you couldn't play PS1 and PS2 games anymore.
Right.
So hence the reason why I don't think you can play PS3 games on the PS4. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the PS5, but I want to see what the problems are going to be with the backplay with the 4 previous game versions. As far as the looks of the casings, you're right. The PlayStation 5 does look like something out of Star Trek. And every time I look at the Xbox, I keep hearing the 2001 Space Odyssey music.
It's a little monolithic.
Yeah, it's a little monolithic. It can't what do you call it? It can't integrate as looking as like modern furniture, so to speak.
No,
You know,
it's just
it looks like a piece of stereo equipment.
it's a black box.
Yeah, it looks like your subwoofer that's underneath the cabinet.
It does. It's utilitarian.
You know, it looks like one of the office servers back at work.
Aesthetically, I think they both look ugly. I mean,
it is what it is. You got to cram all those parts in there.
I guarantee you though, the second or third generation, they're going to be much smaller.
It'll slim down. It always does.
Yeah. So
and has less problems.
Yep.
Whatever the problems are going to be in this generation will get worked out by then.
And then by then, the most sought after games will already have sold 20 million or a million, and you'll be able to get them for less than half the price. So
Sure. Yeah. Sean, what's your thoughts on these new things? I know that you might be in the market for one of these.
I have been an Xbox player for the past at least 15 years, maybe longer, maybe 20. I don't know. I didn't own the original Xbox. So whenever the 360 came out, I don't remember when the 360 came out. Prior to that, I had the PlayStation. In fact, I still have my original PS1, PS2, and PS3 that I bought after I bought my Xbox 360.
Sean's not playing around.
I will remain with Xbox probably, for the foreseeable future. I've always I've been a fan of their system and their operating systems and so on and so forth. That's just me. With that said, I agree with Walt. I tend not to purchase the first generation of any console because that's just crazy talk. Let them work out all the bugs. Let them work out all the problems, and get it later, as late as you can. Obviously, there are some games that are upcoming that are only for the next gen consoles, and I know there are going to be people that want to get that upgraded graphics and sound and whatnot, and God bless you. But if you can hold off as long as possible, sit back, wait for them to work out the problems, get a decent price on this new console, and like you said, whenever they slim it down and tweak the casing a bit. With that said, if they have a cyberpunk version of the Xbox One or the Xbox Series X, I will buy that day one no matter what. I've already committed to that.
If they come out with a cyberpunk version, it's going to hurt me. I don't think I can afford the damn thing.
They released
it.
They released the Xbox One Cyberpunk Edition, and that looked glorious.
It was cool.
So if they turn around and do that for the Series X, yeah, I'll buy that day one. I don't care. But because it'll just be beautiful.
You're gonna pull the trigger if they do that. I wouldn't be surprised if that's coming.
If 6 months down the road it's just a 4-pound paperweight, so be it. But at least it'll be a
pretty paperweight.
Pretty paperweight, But yeah, I would say hold off as long as you can. But I'm an Xbox guy. I'll be playing Xbox probably for the next several generations.
My thoughts on this is that it's 4K, baby. That's pretty exciting. Both, if you're a tech guy, you want to look at the specs. It's pretty much a push between these two things. I think what it comes down to is what games do you own? Are they backwards compatible? Both of them are. So if you have Xbox games, then get the Xbox. If you have PlayStation games, then get the PlayStation. I think you'd probably be pretty happy as long as they don't have any.
It'll only go
problems.
back. PlayStation will only go back to PS4.
All right.
All of the beyond that is you're screwed.
I think that if you look at some of the differences between the two systems, PlayStation has a new haptic controller, which apparently is a little bit different than what we're used to. It also has a microphone and a speaker on it, so that you can get some information. You can talk to people through your controller. So that's something a little bit different. And Xbox has a controller which is supposed to have a better feedback. It has a different architecture to it, which is supposed to eliminate latency. So that's a gameplay issue. So if you're into that sort of thing, if it makes any difference to you, there's the difference between those two things. I think the most fascinating thing about these is that this is supposed to be the last generation of consoles. They are promising us that the next generation is going to stream directly to whatever your device is. It's going to be an internet thing. And as someone who regularly watches content on Netflix or Amazon Prime or anything and can't stream a 30-minute television series, and that's just one direction, it's one direction they're feeding me. And if you're playing a game, it's going to have to be two directions. It's going to have to be multiple directions if you're playing multiplayer. I just don't believe we're there yet. And I don't know if we're going to be there in 8 years. So I don't know if their promise of doing stuff totally online is really going to come through. I think at a certain point, if you really want playability and connectivity, that you're going to have that console. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they work it out, but I don't think it's even a console issue. I think it's an infrastructure issue. We just don't have the infrastructure. Whatever you're getting your stuff through, whether it's satellite or cable, they're not delivering the consistent speed and response that you need to do that. In the meantime, once it gets to the point, I'm playing Division 2 right now. I know that they're going to have a Cyberpunk that I can play, but a year from now, they're going to be releasing games on this new system. And at a certain point, that's going to make me mad. So I'm going to need one I'll probably be in the market about 12 months from now. And I'll probably be getting an Xbox because that's the sort of stuff that, that I have. So that's my thoughts. Let's see. We got some comments here. Jeffrey says he wants a PS5 first, but he thinks that Xbox will have better games and interactivity because I think they're pushing cross-platforming. That's a good point. But he'll probably own both in time. I think that's probably what Sean may do because Sean likes buying multiple systems. He owns two PS4s, two Xbox Ones, and a Switch. So, he gets a little bit of everything. Is anyone else? Yeah, I didn't even realize. I was talking about Cyberpunk. Everything is Cyberpunk, man. Everything is Cyberpunk.
He's a gamer.
Marianne says, I'm risking it. She's going to get one. But she's probably going to keep the PS4 just in case.
Well, that's fine. We need all the youth to jump out there and buy that first generation and try that out.
And break it.
We're also going to need you to try the serum that's going to come out in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And then we'll take the next generation.
That's a good point because it's not going to harm them, but some of us older folks, it's going to be a problem.
And I'm not making fun of you. Back in college, and Hooper lived with Dave, who had to buy a PlayStation the moment it came out, and then
dude, that guy was into Final Fantasy. I mean,
but he wore his out. Remember how many PlayStations he went through because he had to buy the first generation every time.
Yes. But
3 months later,
that thing was never off.
That's true.
I mean, he turned that
That's true.
I mean, dude, no one loved Final Fantasy more than that guy. I mean, he would like if he was in the middle of a cut scene,
He'd tell you, come in the room. Come here.
just shut up. But shut up. And for some reason he got disconnected on it or something. He got so mad. He was so mad.
Good stuff.
It was like flaming mad.
Yeah.
Steve's talking about Gran Turismo 7. He wants a piece of that.
Yeah, same here.
Stoney says better late than never.
Stoney.
What's up, Stoney?
How you doing, buddy? Stoney's chiming in on Twitter with me, and I sure do appreciate it. He's helping me get out and meeting some people and stuff. I appreciate that. I guess Marianne's out on the serum.
Come on.
She's the young person that we're talking about here. She needs a Demon Souls remake. Anyone?
Never played it.
She said she has an itch.
Not familiar with it.
It's coming.
Does anyone else have anything to say on this subject? It looks like most of us are waiting unless there's some exclusive game that forces us over the edge.
Yeah,
Like Rocket League.
Command and
Right.
Conquer. I'd like to see the return of Command and Conquer personally.
Wow.
I mean, just
There you
Jeffrey
go.
says
PS5.
PS5 exclusive for Demon Souls remake. Sean's also ready for the redo on Mass Effect, right?
Yes, it's been pushed back to next year. So
Yeah, that's lousy.
that gives us
time.
that gives you time to
Yeah,
get a
do it.
second or third generation.
That's a good point, and it gives them time to actually do something right with it. Apparently,
Right.
I watched a video with Sean the other day where they're talking about maybe trying to redo the game mechanics for the first episode of Mass Effect, which is probably a good thing. I never played that. Sean can tell you more about it, but
the combat in that was, I didn't realize it at the time. It wasn't until playing games like The Division, playing games, well, just the other Mass Effect games and whatnot. The game mechanics in that first one were just not right.
not good.
But hey.
Steve,
Yeah.
Steve wants a rap at the rapper.
that would be cool. That would be kind of cool. As cheesy as that game looked, that was a fun game to play.
It was Simon. You were playing Simon.
It was still fun.
Oh my God.
I wanted to hear, as a hip hop guy, I wanted to hear the complete rap.
I will not argue with that. I do not want to play it. I'll watch somebody that's good at playing it.
That's fine.
Because I couldn't do that.
That's fine. I'm game for that. I'll Twitch it. If it comes out, I'll Twitch it, and you can watch me. You can watch
That's
me on
good.
Twitch.
I'm down. I'm there. I'll watch it with you. I'll sit in the living room.
Marianne wants that Demon Souls remake. It comes out the same day. So there it is. She says it's an addiction.
She is itching for that.
Stoney says, I've never owned an Xbox. He's always been a PS guy. I've been agnostic. I've owned both. What has made my choice between those is that the HD DVD versus Blu-ray thing sent me to PlayStation, and I had some issues with PlayStation, so I went to Xbox this last time. And that's why they got me now, is because I got a bunch of games for the new Xbox. Ronnie has a question for Sean. He says, are we very close to having a haptic suit like on the movie Ready Player One? I guess he's talking.
No.
Why is Sean the expert on that subject?
Although I do know that there have been chest plates that will act in a similar fashion. I mean, it's not gonna feel like you got shot with a shotgun by any means, but you're definitely.
But it activates when you get shot.
Yeah, you'll feel a slight vibration to the chest or whatever.
Why would you want that?
They have haptic gloves right now. Obviously, you have the goggles. I mean, the goggles in the movie looked almost exactly like the goggles we have now.
I personally, I would say we're probably, I'm going to go 10 at the earliest, 15 years
that's a good guess.
From a full haptic suit.
Maybe that next generation of games will have.
I would say for every year that goes by, probably deduct 6 months.
Yeah, that would be
Like,
right.
like it could be 10 years now, but then next year it'd be like, hey, we're getting closer.
That's
Right.
It's going to be.
Moore's
gonna be
Moore's
8.
law.
Yeah.
That's
So-
Moore's law, and that's why what's his name says that we're going to get the singularity in 2045.
Well, I've said for a while after reading Ready Player One, I was ready. Let's do this. Let's plug in right now. I will.
What is your
do
problem? I just want to touch things. I'm thinking of all the things I
That's
missed.
your problem.
Speaking of that, they do have something that's called teledildonics, which is for people that want to do things with their significant others, and
Right.
that is available right now. So
all right. Well,
we do
let me-
have that.
Google that, y'all. Google that.
I'm just saying that
Just
let me try
if you
that out.
have
If you're under
Some
the
of
age of
them-
20, if you're under
some
the age
of-
of 18, don't Google that.
some of the haptic stuff we do have right now.
I bet it doesn't work.
Oh,
You buy it, I'll try it, Sean.
Hey,
You
I ain't
buy
got
it, I'll
that.
try it.
I ain't got that kind of money.
and I don't think none of us in this chat is willing to do it with you either.
No,
No way. I got
So.
I got my girl in mind.
Oh, okay.
I ain't gonna do that with you, you clown.
well, if you got a girl of it, you go buy it and do it. Why would I buy it?
Because it's
Would I buy it so
expensive.
that you could have no.
I'm trying to call your bluff
Why does Sean have to be the guinea pig on this?
because he gets the best reaction. Look at that
That's true.
reaction.
That's a good point.
I
That's a good point.
people.
Just drink your milk of magnesia.
Wow.
So yeah, Steve.
Steve
got
says,
him.
Yeah.
Steve's talking about you guys.
Nerd.
Go ahead, Walt.
So yeah, me and Steve used to after playing the game, we'd be cruising around doing the whole, in the rain, in the snow. I got the flow, I got the funky flow. But yo, I really gotta go. Which is the only line I can remember from Paul Rapper the Rapper.
Man.
Yeah. Fun times.
Stoney says, watch your grabby hands.
Not grubby, grabby.
Grabby, sorry, grabby, not grubby. And Marianne is
Yeah, she's
keeping
staring.
her eye on us.
Probably good.
All right, we're moving on to our next subject before we get in trouble. Maybe. It's a shame we don't have Doug for this one because he has a Kickstarter running right now, and it would be interesting to get his opinion on what he thinks here. So I'm going to add this to our stream, and I'm going to say the recent announcement of a Kickstarter campaign for Boom Studios and actor Keanu Reeves's new comic series Berserker has sparked an outcry among some comic book professionals. Described as, quote, a brutally violent new series about one immortal warrior's fight through the ages, Boom Studios and Reeves announced the Kickstarter for Berserker, the first comic book and graphic novel series from the iconic Keanu Reeves. Some people jumped on Boom for not paying artists better. So they said, if you're doing this Kickstarter thing, are you using the money to pay the artist on this series better? Some people felt like a top 5 publisher should not be doing Kickstarters at all. Others were upset that Keanu Reeves was taking all the attention away from the little people. So my question to all of you, and again, I wish we had Doug here, but we'll ask him if he comes in next week. What do you all think? Should big companies be doing Kickstarters? Do big celebrities take attention away from smaller products? Or is this a new business plan for bigger companies, and should it be? So for that first, we're going to eliminate this thing, get back to this, and we're going to go to Scott.
Okay, so this whole deal with everybody being mad that big companies are using this, big companies has always found the loopholes to make more money. That's why they're a big company. You see this all the time in the game board industry. There's a big company called Cool Mini or Not, and they run these Kickstarters all the time. It's not really to kickstart it in the sense of if I put out a comic or a board game because I don't have any money, it's just a simple way for them to do a pre-order system. You know, they don't have to create their own thing. Although, ironically enough, Hasbro just released for Hero Quest, an old board game from the 90s, their own version of Kickstarter for themselves on their own website. And it's basically a pre-order. And if they get, you know, certain numbers, then they'll add exclusive things to that. Do I like it? No. I've been waiting for this to be like solicited out to the comic stores. So when I heard about this, I was going to buy it. And really not because of Keanu Reeves, because of the creators on it. You know, I like Garney's art and stuff like that. I thought,
yeah, he's an old school guy. He's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once when you sent out the notes to this, I went to the Kickstarter, and there's only like 40 hours left of this Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And it's made a ton of money. And sad thing is I'm not going to go buy it. I wanted it in the floppy format. I didn't want it in big, thick trade paperbacks. Now, it's not a bad deal. You're basically getting, it said like 3 softcover trade paperbacks, 4 issues each, which is like 12 issues, right? A year's worth of comics for $50.
Right.
Which is pretty much $4 a book if you look at it, just slightly over $4 a book.
Yep.
So what's sad is no, I don't want to spend $50 right now to get that. So I'm just going to miss out on this. I'm sure at some point, and maybe after all this is said and done, Boom's going to release it 1 issue at a time, because now they're going to have all this extra money, and they got their money from the upfront people. Now they're going to get it from the other people with different covers. As to Keanu Reeves on this, sure, it's kind of a crappy thing, right? You're the artist, you're the creator, and then you have this guy coming in, but he's drawing all the eyes to this. This comic's done $1 million, right?
Over.
Yeah, I think it's over $1 million. If I'm looking at it,
it's well over $1 million.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, it's $1.25 million and growing.
It's good money.
It's growing right now as I watch it. So this is kind of like how WWE always brings back some legend like The Rock for one more match or something like that around the time of WrestleMania. Do I like it? No. Would I like it if I worked for the company that some guy comes in and gets kind of all the credit? No. But at the same time, this gets more eyes to the product, just like it does over in WWE. And hopefully those guys will get a bigger cut of the financial pie of the money they make off of this thing. And I'm assuming they will. I mean, if they don't, you'll probably hear about it. So I don't know, one way or another. What was the other question? There was 3 of them, right?
I mean, just in general, should big companies be doing Kickstarters? I think you covered that. Do big celebrities take attention away from smaller projects? And is this the future? Is this like the first? I mean, look.
No, they've been doing this for a while. I mean,
they just discovered that they can make $1.25 million on a comic book project.
Sure.
I guarantee you, DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, and everyone else is taking great attention on this.
Sure, and I mean, this is already money made, right? And I mean, here's the thing. To me, I look at the creators. I didn't look at Keanu Reeves was doing this. I looked at the creators, and that's why I wanted to get it, not because of Keanu Reeves. So
I got you. But
there's other people out there who love the John Wick movies, and I mean, really love those movies. And so they probably, thought $50. That's like me going to, 2 movies a month. I'll buy these and read them and enjoy them. So whatever.
All right.
Not for me, but I don't think it's necessarily wrong. How about that?
All right. Walt, what do you say?
Big companies going to do what they want to do.
Fleece us.
I really don't have that much of an opinion on this. As far as Keanu Reeves being involved with it, shoot, if I could get The Rock or somebody else to be a part of one of my projects, yeah.
Right.
Hell okay.
Yes.
That's
Hell
eyeballs,
yes.
right?
Yeah, that's eyeballs on my stuff. Is it going to bring more money to get them and bring more money for the artists and the creators involved? I think it is. But as far as the Kickstarter thing, I'm with Scott on that. You know, it's something I was looking forward to seeing in the stores, but not interested in the Kickstarter thing. I mean, if it's different for me, and this is just my opinion, it's different when I see like someone small, you know, like who's out there on their own, or a group of guys who are out there on their own trying to get something started on Kickstarter. It's kind of insulting when for me to think that, why is Boom Studios doing this on Kickstarter? Don't they have their own money? Right. Kind of thing, you know? And so
I wonder if this would have happened if we didn't have all the, you know, the current state of the world with COVID. So,
you know, I'm thinking that's kind of the thing too. Maybe it was just a temporary, maybe it was just a temporary decision to make, you know, to get some extra to cash flow in so that they could get this out. If that's the case, you know, hey, cool, you know, whatever, you know, but if it becomes a habit. Now, what you said about Hasbro doing it, but their own thing, that's fine. You know, if they want to do that like a pre-order thing and it's their own thing, that's great. You know, that's them trying to see if people are interested in it. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's kind of the same thing that Boom Studios is doing, but it's not technically their own thing. It's on Kickstarter, you know, so they're out there taking away attention from the little guys who are trying to get something, you know, but, you know, it's all a matter of opinion. You know, people are going to do what they're going to do.
The Hero Quest board game that I'm talking about from Hasbro is through their HasbroPlus.com website. So I just wanted HasbroPulse.com is where that's at. In case anybody's interested, you can pledge $100 or $150.
Which, and you know, and the same Lego does the same thing with Lego kits, like those exclusive Lego kits. In fact, they have that, you know, design your own Lego kit kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And every year there's a few that are chosen to be put out for kits to the public. And they basically throw them out there. And if people are interested in them, then it becomes this big thing and it gets out there. I mean, I think the Voltron kit was done that way. So
this Hero Quest thing is almost at 1.7 million. And they're going to keep doing this until November 6th. Wow. So it's going to make some bank.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good. Sean, you're up on this topic.
Well, a lot of what I'm hearing from Scott and Walt, I disagree with. As far as taking any attention away from any other projects, I don't think this is going to affect anybody beyond its own project. I mean, you walk into a comic book shop, you don't just, oh, well, there's that project over there. I can't look at any of these other comics that are here. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. If anything, this is going to bring more people with all the news about it. Everybody's talking about it. I saw a story on what was it? Ben Shapiro talked about it. MSN talked about it. I think Don Lemon even talked about it on CNN. I might be wrong on that one, but I know I've seen stories about this on the media like crazy. Everybody's talking about this because of Keanu Reeves' involvement. This was his idea. He approached people that he knew in the comic industry, happened to be at Boom Studios. They took up the project and they fleshed it out. They got the illustrator who I believe worked with Keanu on various ideas and whatnot to help kind of get his idea, his plot out there in the world. Based on what I've read and seen of Keanu, he probably would have liked it better if he was never mentioned. He is not excuse me, he is not a huge glory hound like a lot of other
I agree with that.
I agree with you on that one too. Yeah.
But with his backing, with his status, this does draw a lot more attention to the project. I'd have to go back and check, but I think I've actually backed this project myself. Is it going to be in comic book stores? Sure. Boom Studios. Everybody talks about these big studio production. This isn't one of those. Boom Studios is not a big comic book house. You're to compare them to DC, to Image, to Marvel. They're not even in the same ballpark, I don't think. So as far as them putting a project out on Kickstarter, they're testing the waters. They're trying to see if this is a viable way for them to get their comics out to the public, being that, as Scott mentioned, with the current status of the world, there are a lot of comic shops that they're not open anymore. Or if they are open, they're not doing the kind of business that they used to. So here they are taking a project, testing the waters, seeing if this is viable for them to continue producing comics. Because again, everybody, they've got all these millions of dollars. No. Kickstarter's going to take a chunk of this money.
Yeah, Kickstarter wins no matter what, right?
Right.
Yeah, they do.
Boom Studios is going to take this money, and this is going to keep those doors open for all the other artists that are still working under that umbrella, that are working from home, that have to, pay their bills, pay their insurance, feed their kids, so on and so forth. So this isn't really a situation where they're just making money hand over fist. Yes, this project did very well. Absolutely. Is that going to happen on the next project that they put on Kickstarter? Probably not. This just happened to be one of those situations where, again, you had kind of a cool story. You had great artwork. You had a celebrity involved, and you had the news media who picked up that football and ran with it. Everything came together for this to make the bank that it did. But does this set a precedent for DC, Marvel, Image to take over? This is just another venue for to get a chance to open up his bar.
Well, what I'm saying here is that when you look deep down into this, it's Keanu Reeves' comic book.
Yes, as far as I understand, yes,
it's Keanu Reeves' comic book, and if it had been presented this way, it's Keanu Reeves' comic book, and he's pushing it through Kickstarter to pay Boom Studios.
Yes,
from what I'm hearing on this story, that's the way it should be presented as.
It's the way it's been framed in the media.
Exactly.
The media has framed this completely horrendous, as the media does, because they're all bastards.
So what's happened is there either it's a combination of PR and media, because PR has got to get it right to the media.
Sure.
Otherwise, media is just going to run with it. And I think that's
who's got PR. Keanu Reeves has not got PR to sell a comic book to the masses.
Right.
Boom Studios does.
Right.
So Boom Studios goes out and says, "We got a comic book with Keanu Reeves."
Right.
And then the media says, "Boom Studios has a comic book featuring Keanu Reeves." No.
Right.
It's his idea, and
that's the thing. It's never one-sided. It's two-sided.
Absolutely.
So if media says one thing, they've got to clear it up.
Right.
So it is what it is. It's human beings. it is what it is. So.
All right, I got a few comments on this. I listened to a podcast called the Comics Launch Podcast, and it's about starting Kickstarters and how to do that. And it has a lot of industry people, and they talk about this sort of stuff. The guy who runs that thing did a little bit of research and said that about 1,500 people who have never been on the Kickstarter platform before joined this product and contributed to the very successful run that they have on this thing. So what I want to propose to you is that maybe rising tides raise all boats, and that even though this is for an established company and it's for someone who is a celebrity, the little guy who is out there, who is, fighting to get a little bit of attention and to get, a little attraction on Kickstarter, now has 1,500 more people that are in that ecosystem that weren't there before. And McFarlane ran something that was pretty successful. That brought some more people in. There are some other Kickstarter projects that are similar in scope. And although we probably take it for granted that everyone has been to Kickstarter, that's just not true. The thing is that once you are on Kickstarter, you start getting emails and notifications that new things are coming out. And maybe people who like Berserker get a notification that your action adventure comic is similar to Berserker, and it will help the little guy. I also say that this is not about money at all. This is a new business model. And the business model includes not just money, but also marketing directly to the consumer. So instead of marketing to comic book stores or to Barnes & Noble, this is an opportunity for you not just to sell something directly to the consumer, but it also allows you to get that notification and that information to the consumer the next time that you have something. So that platform becomes a way for you to create not just fans, but super fans that you can market directly to. And that's what they want with this product. And the final thing that I have to say about this is look forward to the movie. The movie is coming out any second now. Anytime you can make $1.25 million off of a comic book where no one knows what the hell it is, you can be sure that whoever, Warner Brothers or Sony or someone, is in negotiations right now to get Keanu. The damn character looks exactly like him. So it's not a stretch to say that they could, and he owns the character. So, look for the first Berserker movie in about 3 years. That's what I have to say about that.
The only other problem I have with this is like if this Kickstarter gave like for retailers a retailer option like a lot of board games do, I would have no problem with that, because then it wouldn't cut out the comic stores. If they had to have it now, they could still get it, whatever. But that's just me.
Let's get some comments here from some people. Sean, go ahead. What do you got to say?
Boom Studios is going to give the break to the
They probably
stores.
will.
This will be
the individual. This is not for the individual comics. These are for full 4-issue volumes.
Yeah, you get
three of them.
Yeah.
So
3 graphic novels.
So the single issues will go to the comic book stores. You're going to get another bite at this apple if you are a comic store.
Volume
patron.
1 estimated delivery is September 2021. Volume 2
Yeah.
April 2022, and then Volume 3 September 2022.
Okay,
So-
I did not read that. So maybe they're going to have the comics come out first.
You're
anyways
going to
in the
have
store.
individual comics, and they're going to be released to the stores.
Primarily, this is just to estimate. Does anybody want to read it? Is anybody interested in this? Is this something we can make money on? Since we can't just put a comic book.
What was
in
their
a
target?
store.
Was it like $50,000? They got what they wanted out of this.
I'll tell you in a second.
We're talking about it.
Their
That
target
is-
was
$50,000.
$50,000.
and Sean Sean mentioned all of the different venues that they got to talk about this because it was something different, because it had Keanu Reeves. They got what they wanted out of this. The $1.25 million, that's a bonus.
Yeah, just a
It's
little.
a nice bonus.
Just a little extra bonus.
Stoney, who has done and is doing Kickstarter, says he has mixed opinions on this. We shouldn't be bankrolling established publishers or billionaires. And on the other hand, he says it might bring eyes to Kickstarter, which was my point, that normally wouldn't see other comics.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm mixed on that. I'm really mixed on that. That's the same thing because like they said, it is bringing eyes to the site. So,
Marianne says she thinks it's a double-edged sword situation, and it could be good or bad. We just have to see how it comes out. I guarantee you that other publishers are looking at this thing, and you're right. DC's not going to be able to just put out Superman 236, and get people to back it. But let's say that they get Neil Gaiman to do a new Sandman series, and it's going to be a limited edition thing. That might be the secret sauce where they use this as the business model that I was talking about. Ronnie says, Keanu is a super kind human being. Do yourself a favor and look up all the kind stuff he does. A lot of it he wanted to be anonymous because it draws people's eyes to him, and it wasn't what he wanted. He does stuff all the time for people that doesn't get popularized. He is a good guy. I don't have any ill will towards that guy through this.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'd all like a celebrity assigned to our projects. It would help.
Yeah, for sure.
Jerry says that Keanu can sell anything. He doesn't need Kickstarter.
Well, that Kickstarter proves that.
Ronnie doesn't know what Kickstarter is, which is exactly my point. I mean, if they had a Lord of the Rings thing, then Ronnie would have to run over to Kickstarter to get it, and you have yet another person there that will not buy anything because he only buys Lord of the Rings stuff. But for everyone else, it brings people to that platform. Stoney says he disagrees with the comic store analogy. I don't have the money to spread across all projects. I can't fund every Kickstarter. I have to pick and choose. How many pick this book that would have spent money on someone who needed it more? And does the new eyes they brought in balance that out?
Yes.
That's a good point.
Because the people who can afford this $50 for all 3 graphic novels will pay for it, and they'll buy other products.
It is kind of a high-ticket
That's
item.
what I do.
I mean, what I would call a high-ticket item. It's not,
Now,
you don't get the product for $15.
If it is something that you can't afford, which a lot of people can't, Scott has talked about, he's not willing to drop $50 on this project. Totally understand that, and I totally agree. But now that he's on Kickstarter, he's going to look at other projects because they're going to be highlights, and there's going to be, well, if you check this out, maybe you're going to want to look at this. Same thing.
You're gonna have to start
as they do in a comic book store. As I was trying. Same thing I was trying to say about the comic book store. They're going to have special spotlight items that there's no way in hell you're going to be able to buy it. You are not going to have the money. The average person is not going to have the money to buy that collectible, to buy that comic book, graphic novel, to buy whatever. But that's going to bring your attention to the other stuff that's there. That's going to bring you into the store to look at other things. And that's what they're doing. They're bringing people with all of this media. They're bringing people to Kickstarter to see what is actually out there and what is available to them. And it might not be comics. It might be an electric skateboard, for God's sakes. They've got all kinds of things that they promote.
I have those? Wow.
Just saying. There's
says it
to it.
Makes sense. More publicity. Kickstarter is maybe a good thing.
Yes.
Does anyone have any other? I mean, this is a topic that's not going away. This is something that, I mean, no one really knows what the bottom line is. And we have people regularly on this show that are using Kickstarter, and we want you to go fund their stuff. So ultimately, we don't want anything that's going to hurt them or to hurt that business model for the little guy. And I think we all agree that, we want the little guy to be able to continue to offer their stuff on Kickstarter or Indiegogo or any other things that are out there, because every one of us that are sitting here today is going to be running a Kickstarter of some kind, maybe in a couple of months or maybe in a couple of years. Whatever the case is, we need it to be a viable option.
Mm-hmm.
So we're definitely on the little guy's side because we're the little guys. Stoney says, how many are just there for Keanu and how many will stay? I don't know.
You're going to get about 50-50, I think.
And Stoney says he sincerely hopes it's a good thing. We all hope it's a good thing. We all hope it's a good thing.
But that's the gamble.
We don't know. We don't know. I will tell you that I have heard from some people that say that they're tired of, some people are tired of spending $10 or $20 on a comic book that they would usually spend $5 or $6 on in a comic book store. So there is also, in addition to this, a little fatigue on spending $20, $30, $50, $75 on something that they previously could have spent, $5 on in a comic book store. So people need to be highly aware of that as well. That's part of the mix here. All right, let's get on to the next thing. I hear silence, so it's time to move on. I'm always worried about filling time on this thing. It's like, man, are we going to make it to that first hour without, running out of topics and stuff? And we literally made it through 2 topics, and then we BS'd on that first part. And so now we are 1 hour and 30 minutes and we're on blast. So that's obviously not a problem for us to fill time.
I don't know why you do that to yourself.
I know, man. I have nightmares about us like being through 5 minutes of the show and us blow through 5 topics. And it's like, what are we going to do?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I'm telling you right now, you could do a show with 0 topics.
I know, but
you could say, let's just get together and talk, and we would talk for at least an hour.
We do that every Friday.
I know. We do that. We do that easily. We do need to have some focus, or it would get off into some crazy. We had a subject that we were talking about that we didn't make it to. That would have been kind of one of those. Someone write that down and make sure we can get back to that at some point. All right, we're on blast. We're going to talk about something that, let's pick one thing. Let's pick one big thing, unless you just got to do it. Let's pick one thing that you really want to talk about that you watched or played or read here over the last week. And the first person I'm going to go to is Sean. What is that music?
Somebody's happy.
Is that Scott? What are you doing, Scott?
I'm preparing my thing. Don't worry about it.
Wow. You have a mute button, buddy.
I know. I couldn't hear because of the headphones. I'm sorry.
Let's see anything I've read or watched. I finished the Dune audiobook.
Yeah, not really an issue. Oh, no. You went through the whole thing?
Yeah. And refreshing my memory on the story. Really,
who read that?
It was multiple. There were like 6 or 7 different narrators.
Oh, okay.
There was I believe like a woman playing all of the female parts, and then you had a couple of different actors playing Baron Harkonnen. You had a couple playing Paul Atreides. I mean, they mixed it up with. So
it was a production.
Yeah, somewhat. And very well done. It like I said, it was a refresher for me coming up on the movie. I wanted to have those details a little bit fresher in my mind, since it had been forever and a day since I had actually read Dune, and it was very cool. It was very interesting to to pick up on some of the stuff that I'd forgotten, or some of the stuff that was told differently in the movie version, the previous film and
Right.
television series. So it was really cool for me to get back into that and really, like I said, stir the memory and get a better handle on how that book was originally written. Saw a couple of movies, but yeah.
Walt, what do you have to say?
Let's see. I watched Raised by Wolves.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What do you think?
What'd you think of that?
He's not excited, so I would say
Now,
No.
Did you just watch one episode, or did you watch everything up to?
I watched everything up to current. I got current.
Wow.
On everything.
6 episodes or
7. I think it's
7.
I think
7.
if I recall, it's 7. Yeah.
Okay.
And there are a lot of themes in it that I've seen elsewhere. It's just told differently.
When I sat and watched, because it was on YouTube for free, the first episode.
Yeah.
And there were several scenes that I'm sitting there going, that was in Prometheus. That was in
Yeah,
whatever, and I'm just picking this thing apart going,
Who is it?
Done that, seen
Who's
that,
it?
seen that.
Is that Kubrick?
What?
Who was it that did Alien?
That was Ridley Scott.
Scott. Okay.
Same
Who
guy.
does this?
Yeah, Ridley Scott. So it's definitely a Ridley Scott production. I mean, it's definitely a Ridley Scott production.
Right.
Right.
And I'm watching it, and it's very strange.
I like strange.
It's very strange, and I like things where you have to sit and look at it, and you have to like really pay attention in order to understand what's going on.
Right.
And by the time I got done with episode 7, I started getting, and Sean, you're going to hate this. I started getting a BSG feel, story-wise.
Oh, for Christ!
Battlestar Galactica. For the people playing the home game.
Right. So there's a feel, and I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the plot.
Look at Sean.
Except the only thing different between this and Battlestar Galactica is that you don't have an onslaught of robots or androids coming after the humans or all that stuff. But the whole everything involved, there's the whole aspect of religion versus atheism and roles being reversed kind of thing. And it was interesting. I want to say that it's handling it a little bit better than Battlestar Galactica. And I'm a Battlestar Galactica fan. I just want to know if they dropped the ball on the end, because Battlestar Galactica kind of dropped the ball toward the end, if you know what I mean. There's this huge climactic battle scene in Battlestar Galactica, and then it just kind of goes, whoosh, it kind of fizzles. So it's building up to something big, and it's making me think about things that are happening in this story. So far, I'm going to stick with it just to see if it's really worth telling everybody. Yeah, you really got to watch this thing. It's great. But if I'll say that Dirk will like it.
All right.
I mean, it's super philosophical. I'll just put it that way. Super, super philosophical.
I do like that. It's on HBO Max, right?
HBO Max, yeah. Other than that, watch some old Dexter's Laboratory, and that's it.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Ronnie's got a question for us. When are we going to go on patrol with Super Fat Justice?
That's Big Fat Justice. Yeah, Ronnie.
He doesn't have the name right. I could sprinkle some magical cross-dressing on the perps. A little bit of cross-dressing goes a long way.
Oh, well, congratulations, cross-dressing Ronnie. Ronnie cross-dressing. I like that.
We're going to you, Scott.
Real quick, I found this comic at a Half Price Books up in Chicago called Repossessed. It came out in 2013. It was an Image comic. I've never seen it before in my life. To sum it up, it's a agency that goes after possessed demons and attacks them and all this stuff. So if you're into
that sounds good.
Demon possession and stuff.
Who's the artist?
It's this guy right here that I cannot pronounce his name.
Ringway.
Yeah, whatever. He does it all. Yeah, it's pretty cool. As soon as I'm done with these, I've read the first 2. There's only 4 issues. I'll hand them over to you, Dirk, because I think you will like them. So,
yeah, it looks good.
So while I was up on the way to Chicago, and you can probably start to hear this, I hope, is I played this little game. I don't know how well you can see that or not.
It's kind of just a blank screen there. But
I can tell it's football.
Okay, so maybe if I turn it back here, I don't know. Anyways, it's a little football game on your phone called Retro Bowl. It is, if you are as old as me and you wanted to play old Tecmo Bowl games on your Nintendo,
no.
It is very similar to that, but you take the position that you're a coach. You hear the sound?
We can hear that.
Yeah, so there's the sound. You can have 3 different save games. You're the coach. You do the managing of the team. You're signing free agents, and you're playing the game. You're only playing offense, not defense. It's called Retro Bowl. It's a little football simulator app. It's really cool. You can go in and even change teams' names or the players' names. You can make up your own coach name. I think it's really, you can even customize like the different uniforms. Like I went in and I didn't want 2 New York teams, so I took out the Jets and turned them into Atlantic City. And I didn't want 2 LA teams, so I took out the LA Chargers and I put the Oklahoma City team in there. So it's a fun game. It keeps all your stats. Like I said, you can hire free agents, you can win MVPs and all this stuff. So it's a really neat little game. So I highly recommend it if you're bored and you want a little football game. You can play games in like 5 minutes and get a complete game and move on. So it's really fun.
That's cool.
I played a whole season on our drive from St. Louis to Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And I played on the longer 3-minute quarter version of it. So that just shows you what you can do.
That's funny.
Retro Bowl.
Retro, of course. I watched Streets of Fire, 1985. Oh my gosh, Scott.
I'm turning it off, Jim.
With a mic. Good Lord.
I mean, I could have muted my mic first, but I didn't.
You could have, but you didn't.
How would I irritate you?
Nerd.
That you did it. I watched Streets of Fire, 1985 Walter Hill film. Let's see if I can describe this. It is a post-apocalyptic rock and roll fantasy. And
that's perfect.
You might be thinking, what? Another post-apocalyptic rock and roll fantasy that's set in the 50s? Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Has a great cast in it, amazing cast. Michael Pare at the height of his smoldering powers. If you're familiar with Diane Lane as Superman's mom, this is a very young and very attractive Diane Lane, who is the lead singer who gets kidnapped by an equally young and wild and crazy Willem Dafoe, who plays the bad guy in the film, and absolutely chews through all the scenery in this thing. I mean, he is all attitude and ass whooping.
William Dafoe is a scary person, man.
He is so good and so young in this, but I mean, you can see the future brilliance of Willem Dafoe in this role. Also has Rick Moranis in a semi-serious role. He still is kind of played for some laughs and stuff, but also shows that he has a little bit more range than he usually gets credit for. The movie also features a lot of really good music from beginning to end. One of the songs I think hit pretty good in 1985, but all of the songs are still pretty solid after all this time.
What?
So does it hold up? It's been a long time since this movie. I think it does. I really feel a 35-year-old movie. I feel very confident that this is a movie that almost no one besides maybe the crowd that I'm around is, oh, look at this. Sean has got, my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. There's a little Streets of Fire that Sean brought up for me. I sure do appreciate that. That's very cool. You can see some of the scenes. This is a highly atmospheric film. This movie has this look, whatever it is. It's kind of a 50s industrial, almost steampunk look to it. It's beautifully, the cinematography is amazing. And if you're not familiar with Walter Hill, he did 48 Hours and a bunch of other films. He is an excellent action director, and the action is still very good. Amy Madigan plays a smaller role in this film, but for people who think that there weren't any strong women characters with agency and all of the bitching that happens right now, maybe you should go look at 1985's Streets of Fire, because she is every bit of that. She is a strong woman. She does not fall for the main character. She has her own thing that she's doing, and she's not just there for no reason. She is an integral part of everything that happens there. And I have to say, if you have not seen Streets of Fire and you just want to see something that's maybe a little bit different from what's out there, this film really holds together well, in my opinion.
Really? I mean, I was about to ask you, what the hell makes you think I'm going to go watch a movie 35 years old and it's this one?
This is a movie that I used to watch quite a bit back around that time. And it's something that I was curious, just like The Black Hole, which I've seen fairly recently, and some other things. I want to see how well these things hold up. The Black Hole, in some ways, did not hold up. It's not a great movie, but there's still some elements of The Black Hole which were intriguing to me and ripe for a remake. If you want to do a remake, Black Hole would be good.
I love the score of The Black Hole.
Oh yeah, the score is great.
The score is
who
awesome.
Is that? Who did that? Was it Horn?
I think it was Barry Gray. Was it Barry Gray?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
You're right about the score on this thing.
The score is awesome.
What are you putting up there, Sean?
Hang on.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, I hate you forgetting I Can Dream About You stuck in my head.
Ah, yeah. See, that's the song. That's the song. Oh, hey, this is good.
That's for Scott.
There is Willem Dafoe. Look at him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Man,
he always looks like some weird, like hobgoblin type creature.
I know,
thing.
no makeup necessary.
Like,
guy,
like his mouth's gonna totally open up and swallow you whole.
I mean,
and
he's so good in that film, and also, let me say that this is kind of a general audience, not general audiences, but it's like let's say PG-13 film. It's not rated R. So like if you have younger people, there's a moment of almost brief nudity, and the rest of it, I mean, there's not even, they have guns, but it's like,
I might watch it now. There's
not a lot of gunplay that's involved. It's mostly, fists and stuff. It feels very old fashioned in some ways, but also, the action holds together. I really enjoyed it. I have to say. And if you haven't seen it, it's worth a shot.
Oh, and John Barry did the score for The Black Hole.
John Barry. All right.
John Barry.
Very interesting. Sean, if you'll bring up what you had earlier, I will talk about that since we're on blast. If you know what I'm talking about. Let me see. Jeree says that she loves musical score references. I know a lot of people collect musical scores and they listen to it while they're doing work or whatever. They just really love that sort of stuff. While I'm writing, I really enjoy doing that sort of thing. Here is what I wanted to talk about right here, which is Ultramax, our friend who Doug Wood, who was supposed to be on the show earlier, is currently running a Kickstarter, and there is the link for it. So no matter what happens,
to getting his goal.
He's like literally like $200 or $300 away from hitting the goal. Please run over there and get the general idea is that this guy gets framed for doing a crime that he didn't do, and he's a regular person, but he gets put in what's called an ultramax. So you've heard like maybe a supermax prison. This is an ultramax prison, which is filled with super villains, but he's just a regular guy, and he's got to survive in this environment. Pretty good premise.
That
right?
sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
And if you look at the art, it's well done. And one of the things that they want to do on this is they want to pay their colorist. So here's a case that, unlike Berserker, you can really legitimately help some people pay some creators, and you can make something happen that wouldn't happen otherwise. If you don't support this, there's Doug Wood right there. You can see his picture. If you don't help make this happen, it may not happen. So they're so close. They're $200-$300. You can go over right now. You can see the Kickstarter direct link below, or you can just go to Kickstarter and put in Ultramax, and it still has maybe a couple of weeks. Don't wait on it though.
Yeah.
Don't wait on it though, because let's help them hit their goal. I think it's really important to help these people out, and hopefully we'll have Doug on next week. We'll figure out all of the technical issues that we had. He's a good guy. Go support his product, and the Ultramax looks pretty good. By the way,
get the links in the description after the show.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The links will still be in there. So if you want to, it may take me a day or two. It'll either be later on tonight or tomorrow. I'll say that I'll have the links everywhere that this thing is broadcast. Hey, you know what? Wait a minute. We got comments. Oh, here we go. Stoney says he knows Doug personally, such a cool guy. This is so important to him, and he really loves to see it become a reality. I mean, support cool people, folks.
I mean, he's got just a little under left on his goal.
It's right there.
It's right there.
$300.
You can literally make a difference for real by going over there and spending, pledging a few bucks on this project. And I mean, if you're not intrigued by this, there's a bunch of crap out there.
This
legitimately sounds cool, and you can see the artwork. It's also legitimate. So, go take a look at it. And Stoney, thanks for speaking out for Doug. That's cool too, man.
They've got $5 for digital.
Yeah.
$10
Come on, man.
For digital. Let's see. $5 for a digital copy of issue 1, $10 for the graphic novel, digital, $15 for 1 through 4 as they're completed. So you get them, I guess.
Wow, that's good.
$25 PDF of the graphic novel plus the print edition right there. That's prime. So they've got $75 of 4x6 commission plus a digital PDF of the graphic novel.
Get a piece of artwork. Get an original piece of artwork.
So they're definitely doing a lot of good things with this book. You're going to get your money's worth whenever you.
And it's one and done. It's a one shot. You get this, you get the full story, you're done.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm in.
Definitely. They were only $320 from their goal, but we should really try to push well past that goal. These guys deserve a little bit of a.
Yeah.
I mean, the samples that they have, that's really nice artwork.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is really well done, and if this is all to help pay for the colorist, I'd
better, right?
And the print, it's paying for the prints as well. But
sure.
The colorist is good. The two people who created it, the Doug and the artist, are they're the owners of the product, but they wanted to get a good colorist on this thing, and this will go partially to help pay for the colorist. Hey, so that's awesome.
And it looks very well done. Very, very well.
The coloring is good. Look at it. It's right there. So yeah, support some independent people, folks. That's what it's all about. All right, let's get on to the next and final area, which is It's promo time. First up, we're going to Sean this time.
Been working on some commission, doing some logo stuff recently.
Having a lot of fun with that too, I hear.
That's really been keeping my attention away from doing illustrations. Hopefully, I'll be jumping back on that tomorrow. Working on a couple of different projects as well as some commission pieces and what have you. That as soon as all of that is well underway or to a point where I feel comfortable showing it, I'll get it up on our website, rankingstudios.com, or also the Facebook page, Facebook/Ranking Studios. By all means, take a look at both those sites and feel free to chime in. Tell us you like us, hate us, whatever.
On those two things this week, we also had updates on Doug before this episode. So we are posting stuff about Taskforce Geek on those both locations, including the group too. But we had a long form article about Doug on the Ranking Studios site, which is that right there. So definitely go by and check that out. And Sean will have some artwork up there, and we all will. When it's when it's coming. So next we're going to Walt.
Just working on the children's book.
You didn't get me links, man. There's links.
There's no links.
All right.
There's no links to it. It's kind of a quiet project, so can't show anything.
Never too early. Look, we need to talk.
No, it's a promise. It's a promise I made to the people who.
No, I understand. I'm just saying it's never too early to start doing a little bit of teasing and working out, get that website going, and build a Facebook page. And
well, it's not me, so
I understand.
But other than that, you can see a few. I tease a few little things here and there. I'll be teasing a few little things on the Taskforce Geek Facebook page. Cool. Some other little side projects, because Inktober is coming up here.
Yes, it is.
And I promised myself last year that I would contribute more to Inktober.
Now, are you going to do the standard, or are you going to do the long form?
What the heck is the long form?
Instead
I'd like to know.
Instead of the 31 that he would normally do for Inktober,
right?
He's doing he's got the normal, the 31, but he's also got I believe it's 52.
Oh God!
If you go
one a week.
No, it's one a day.
That's one a day. No, that's more than one a day.
You're closing in on like 2 a day, or just under 2 a day.
Man, I can't even get one a day.
I did it 1 year, and boy, at times it's rough.
If you'd like to see any of that, go to rankingstudios.com. I have a link in on the page there.
That's why these come in handy.
Yeah, if you get them smaller, that would be easier.
Yeah. But yeah, I promised myself last year that I was going to do Inktober this year, and at least I doubt I can get 31 in.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. But I would like to get to myself to the point where, I don't know, some of you who I've been friends with for quite a while on Facebook, if you recall, probably about maybe 3-4 years ago, every Wednesday, we were having at my day job, we were having production meetings on Wednesdays, and how I take notes is by doodling on sticky notes. And I would doodle for 30 minutes on sticky notes, and then I would post. I would say, here, and then I would post it.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And so you would see like little pictures of, like, I would do little quick inks, and this is all in ink. So they were all little quick sketches of like the Starship Enterprise, or somebody's head exploding, or dogs or cats. And it was just me drawing things off the top of my head. So, and it would go through various strange things. I would do pictures of Gacha Man, or as we call them, G-Force. Just whatever was in my brain at the time, I would do these little notepad or sticky note drawings, and I should share a link to those for you guys on the.
You should absolutely. We want to see them.
So,
Sean, you want to tell us what we're looking at? Sean,
Your mute's off.
Sean, you're muted.
I'm muted. If you go to the front page of Ranking Studios, underneath our blazing logo, under theme challenges, that will take you to here, which I have a link set up for Inktober, which gets you. I don't want to join your mailing list. I'm already there. You've either got the classic or you have the 52. Draw all year long, one a week. So there you go. There are two themed challenges you can do. If you're looking for them, here's an easy way to find
What's that other thing? Draw Simber
and Creationary. These are the only
there's
ones
like
that I've
100
found.
million of these. If anyone's out there and they know more of these, tell us and we'll put it on that page so people can get to them.
It's a good way for artists to draw out of their range too, if you really challenge yourself on these things. So
a
lot of them have lists, but you don't have to do the list.
I'm a huge proponent of drawing outside of your comfort.
Oh, and that's basically what my production meeting sketches were, because sometimes I'd just be sitting there and I'd just be staring at a coworker across the table. I'd just be sitting there doing this, staring at them, and they'd be trying to listen, and they're looking at me, and I'm just staring at them. And next thing you know, after the production meeting's done, I had this caricature of them. So it's fun stuff.
Ronnie wants us to entertain him until after the debate is over. Isn't the debate over?
No.
Didn't it start at 7?
I thought it was
9.
It was at 8 o'clock.
they can talk more than us, dude.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a 90-minute.
90 minutes.
Supposed to be 90 minutes.
I'm sorry, I thought it started at 7. I thought it started at the same time.
Yeah, I'm getting chimes.
We could talk for another 15 minutes, but I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Scott, what do you have to say about your promotion stuff?
I'm just going to promote Both Down. You can find me at bothdown.com. You can get all the wonderful Blood Bowl knowledge that me and my partner, Steve Campbell, can give you. So follow me, bothdown.com.
That's it, man.
That's it, man. What do you want?
Facebook.com.
Yeah, you can go to facebook.com too. Like us there.
Chaos Cup.
I don't have anything to do with Chaos Cup, as I'm just a player. So
Did you talk to that guy about maybe, whatever, getting him on the show or whatever?
we're talking. We'll see.
All right. And go to YouTube and see his 2 interviews there. I'll do some promo for you.
All right, there you go.
And don't forget Prime Reviews.
That's right. I need to do some more Prime reviews. That's for sure.
You know what? Your Prime reviews, the My Little Pony thing is the review that could, because it continues to get.
It's fabulous.
It continues to get hits after all this time. If anything, it's growing. What we need for you to do is like maybe a series of My Little Pony episodes.
I bought issue 2 of the Transformers My Little Pony crossover.
Dude,
so maybe
please talk about it. It's gold. It's internet gold.
All right. Fair enough.
All right.
All right, take me off here.
All right. My deal is just the same stuff that everyone's been doing. Go to rankingstudios.com. That's a good place. I also have if I can find it, I'm having to do too many things at the same time. Go to my Twitter page. How about that? I've been talking to a lot of people on Twitter and trying to, get the word out about the show, but also trying to maybe rope some people in. And I think that maybe it's working, because I got someone who sent me a preview copy of a comic today, someone I have not talked to. So
why would they send that to you? They should send it to me.
Well, they send it to taskforcegeek@gmail.com.
All right.
So that's a good sign, though. I mean, that's what we want. We want people to be sending us preview copies, and we want to have people on the show. So get in touch with us at, here we go. How about, I can't believe I just did that. I deleted the thing I was going to put up there. That is really awesome.
No!
I was going to say email us at taskforcegeek@gmail.com. And also check out my page, which is Dirk Cooper Artworks on Facebook. I'm going to be sharing something that's one of the best pieces I've ever done, and I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. So look for that. And
You've
it will
done
also
a lot
be
of good pieces.
So,
Stop selling yourself short.
Thank you, man. Thank you. This is something that I went for something, and it really. Also, I took a course over the weekend. I took Kurt Russell's. That's not what he goes by. He's like Michael Kurt Russell or Kurt Michael Russell or something. But anyway, I'm going to stick with Kurt Russell because it's easy to remember. The guy who does the artwork stuff. I took a course of his on coloring, and then it was on Udemy, by the way. Kurt Russell coloring on Udemy. I used what I learned from that on this piece, and holy cats, if you use his stuff, it really, really works. And if you're interested to see what it did for my coloring, go look at this address tomorrow. I'll be putting that piece out. I can't wait. I'm holding on. I held off because it was a commission piece, and I wanted the person that I did the piece for to see it first before I start sharing it across the internet, because that's not cool. So anyway, I'm done with it and very happy with it. You'll see it tomorrow. Stoney says Kurt Michael Russell is the man. And Ronnie says he loved the material wrinkles in my last. You're the only one that's going to give me props on material wrinkles, Ronnie, but thank you. That was I did an Obi-Wan Kenobi because people challenged me to do Obi-Wan Kenobi. So that was pretty cool. What else we got, guys? Is that
I just sent you a thing on the little on our private there.
Talk amongst yourselves for a moment while I plug this in.
All right. What are you going to talk about?
Some of my notes that those notes from those meetings. Talking about.
Talk about pumpkin spice latte. Okay.
I hate pumpkin spice latte.
I'll talk. I just won my playoff game because I had to play a game since I turned this on. I won 11-10. So that's how quick you can play Retro Bowl, everybody.
There you go.
I played 2 games since I've mentioned about this.
That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. I like games like that.
You can no longer complain to your kids about attention span. You just lost that ability.
I've lost that long ago.
If your kids are watching, your dad can no longer talk to you about a short attention span.
Jennifer awesome. told the boys, they were like, "Why did you show him this? He's always on his phone anyways." So,
but yeah, there are my meeting notes right there. If you
Deviant Art. Hey, we all ought to share. Does everyone here have a Deviant Art?
No,
I do.
I know.
I do too.
I know Wilson does, and I know Dirk.
I thought that was some weird porn thing because it says deviant, so I thought it was like nudie stuff.
No, although there is that on there.
I would think that would get you over there faster.
Well, I also thought it was deviant tarts, and I didn't want to mess with some weird.
You don't want to. You don't want to deal with. You don't like tarts.
Well,
I like tarts.
He was thinking tarts, not the what do you call it? The perfection kind.
Yeah, not the pastry.
Yeah, he was thinking tarts.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm just teasing.
What are you? Oh,
these are cool.
Sean for the win here. This is the actual stuff from Walt's deal, right?
Yeah, these are cool little doodles here.
I like that dog.
The dog.
That's a horse.
Which one?
It's in the bottom right-hand corner.
Oh, that one
Right, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. Oh, here we go. Man, that's a
Alright.
good looking dog. Got a little venom going on there. And a jet. You got a lot. And Mjolnir.
Hey,
Meow,
and there's
meow.
and there's my notes up there at the top.
I see that you got a lot out of that meeting. Unfortunately, that's what my notebooks look like in the first couple of years that I went to college.
Yeah.
It was a lot of that sketching and a few notes, and then like I would fall asleep.
So yeah, that's just a sampling of what I would do in our production meetings. And believe it or not, I would remember everything that was talked about after all that. So
I mean, that's pretty cool. Did anyone who was running the show see those doodles?
oh yeah, they all saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all friends. Most of us are all friends on Facebook. So yeah, they saw it.
All right. All right. Does anyone have anything else to add?
I think we've talked enough.
We have talked. We have talked it all to death. Visit us on Agora Taskforce Geek space or the Taskforce Geek Facebook page. There's a lot of activity going on there. It's a lot of fun. People start sharing art, doing stuff. Shawnee, you okay, man? What's going on?
I'm
I
fine.
think
All right.
I'm laughing at this one up here.
All right. What's he doing? Is he playing more games?
I broke a
Yes.
15-yard run.
Have you
Yeah,
run
yeah,
enough
that's
season?
arm the guy.
Yeah. I could tell that he got a first down on that right there. So
I did. 2 stiff arms. Woo.
Oh, Ronnie. Ronnie says, did you hear that Wolverine's face is just 2 Batmans kissing?
Yes.
Yeah, we've seen that.
We know Ronnie, man.
yeah.
Welcome
We
to Facebook.
know.
Welcome to Facebook 2016, Ronnie.
Ronnie is new, indoctrinated into Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Thanks to the panel.
You're welcome.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Thanks to everyone who's watching this. Please leave a like or share wherever you see this. Hey, go to YouTube when I share that thing and give us some likes because people are giving us down likes. You guys got to help us overpower that, please.
Maybe we need more silly hats.
Silly hats are good. Sean's been trying to get me in a silly hat since we began this thing. He says it's important. We might have a theme thing.
He won't wear a silly hat.
I'm not really a silly hat guy, but I might for the show.
All right.
I think we all wear a silly hat. You know, it'll be great.
We might have themes. Apparently, themes are very popular.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, especially with Halloween coming up. Hey, for Sean, for Walt, and for Scott, thanks for tuning in. Much love to you all. And until next time, this is Dirk Hooper saying, dream hard.